Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla.
All right, y'all. Good evening. It's 10 o'clock on the West Coast. So good evening on the West Coast. And it might be morning on the East Coast. So good morning on the East Coast. This is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. And I just popped in tonight because I just wanted to, before I hit the hay, go to bed, get a few things off my mind, off my chest, because I'm just in the clouds in different spaces, just in the clouds listening to certain things. And I am beginning to realize that a lot of the stuff that goes on in the Black community just may well be an issue with mammies. And let me clarify, I'm not talking about Black women. I'm talking about mammies. And there's a difference. Because, see, I don't want to put the behavior of degenerate females on women who are ladies and know how to conduct themselves. So I always want to make that distinction. So as I was listening to a few live streams, and we're still talking about this whole debacle with Rudemp and his rap sheet being exposed. I'm learning more and more, because the thing that happened with Rudemp, he did the time for it. Okay. Even though I think he's still not being completely truthful and honest and forthcoming about what happened. But we don't have a heaven or hell to put him in on YouTube. But there is an accountability that's an elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. And that accountability is separation. And nobody wants to talk about that because nobody's willing to separate themselves from people they like. Now, it's real easy to separate yourself from somebody that you don't like and that you're at odds with. So if China White and I are at odds with each other, we don't have a problem saying, fuck you, bitch, I'll never come back to your shit again. But if you like the person and you still view them as a friend no matter what they do, you don't want to separate. And that's the reason why we're not holding a lot of people in the space accountable. There has been more people than just Rudemp whose rap sheets have gotten exposed. And there are some heinous things there that should have got them excommunicated. But the Black community as a whole does a really poor job of properly holding people accountable once they find out certain things. So, of course, no, we cannot, there's no heaven or hell that we can put anyone in here. We can't throw anybody in jail, but we can very well hit unsubscribe. Okay. We can block, and we could not deal with people. And that's the elephant in the room nobody wants to talk about, because if every individual person had to do that, that means that they would have to give up a person that they do not want to give up. And that is it in a nutshell. So this brings me to the problem. Now, I I didn't expect it, but I saw more men willing to hold Rudimp accountable than women. Even men that rocked with him were willing to hold him accountable. But ironically, it was the mammies, the real mammies, who are being exposed even now as we speak, who are reluctant to let go of cyber penis. Isn't that interesting? So I guess you all know Bum Cherry had a stream up. I guess maybe it's still up, but you know, it got kind of repetitive and people were going around and around in circles. So I left. But I stayed there long enough, a good 2 hours, and got the gist of what was going on. And I was also reading the comments. Now, I talked to different people behind the scenes, and a friend of mine told me that I would be looking crazy to continue to go against Rude, because what Rude did, he did as a child, and nobody's going to hold him accountable for what he did as a child, as an adult. And he didn't do anything like that again that we know of. So people going after him still look stupid and crazy. This is what I was told behind the scenes. And so I thought about what this person said, and I said, that's bullshit. Because I look at it this way. It's kind of like when you're dating somebody. And some of you, I know I do, you run background checks on the person. When you get their first and last name, you kind of dox the person that you're dating to see if they got a criminal background, especially if you got kids. I know I do. I doxed CK, he doxed me. So we wanted to check each other's backgrounds out. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dating somebody and you find out that there's this thing in their record where they have a sexual offense against a child, and you look at the age of the child and it's 6, you're not going to say, oh, well, that happened when they were a kid, and continue to date them, I hope. I hope, right? I hope that logical people will say, okay, I just got this information on this guy that I'm interested in. He got a long rap sheet. I'm going to leave that alone. And see, that's the accountability part, right? Because now that this person has done this stuff, he may not qualify for certain things that he would have qualified before he had done these things. It's kind of like with your credit score. If your FICO score is below a certain percentage point, like you got a 380, that means that you got horrible credit. No lender would touch you with a 10-foot pole. You might have got that horrible credit back in college when you were 18 and they started sending you those credit cards in the mail. But lenders are not going to look at it like that. They're going to look at your history, see what's there, and judge you. And you will not qualify. They will not fuck with you. But see, this is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to acknowledge. That the actual accountability that we can give a person out on YouTube and in real life is that you don't fuck with them when you find out something like this. It seems like a, easy enough concept to grasp, but in Black YouTube and in Black America in general, We fail at this concept. We keep inviting people to the cookout that should have been excluded, don't we? So now let me just go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. The mammies. At this point, the mammies are the problem. You know, I was sitting there listening to Koja earlier on a pre-recorded screen that I had recorded off of Rude's live, and she went on there to explain about a situation that happened with her child who was going to be put up on criminal charges for some picture or video that was taken of an underage teddy bear, and her child was maybe, I think she said 15 at the time. And so she ran interference for that because it was her child that was going to end up in the hot seat. She ran interference for that. And now we have grown women running interference for a grown man who, as they said, we have no heaven or hell to put him in. None of us can send him back to jail. But for some reason or another, they feel the need to protect this 30-some-year-old man from the court of public opinion. So much to the point that he was over there on their platform for hours and hours, not saying anything on the panel, because anybody going up there to question him, they had to go through 3 layers of mammies before they can get to him. I saw Jessica X hit the panel, and Jessica X came up there to address Rudin and to speak her piece. But as soon as she got to talking and what she was saying did not fall in alignment with the Mammy Handbook, she was attacked, screamed at, and talked over. Not able to get her point out. And never got a chance to ask Rude anything. As a matter of fact, there was a point where Rude was begging them to let him speak to her. Rude was begging them to shut up and let him speak. And they still couldn't do it. At this point, it's the mammies. It's definitely the mammies that are the problem. These are the women that think they're doing right, that they think that they're protecting something. They really think that they're doing justice in the world. But they are enablers. They're mollycoddlers. They are sweep the family secrets under the ruggers. That's what they are. And so they finally booted her off because she wasn't on their program. I told you that over there in that camp, what Bomb Cherry, and she is the queen pen over there, the type of women she is producing are women who are exactly like her. And she's making sure that they are on code and on her program. Even Miss Olivia, who is the second in command over there, makes sure that she bullies the women and overtalks them so that they're on the program and they're on code. Just peep the hierarchy. No woman is able to think for herself, and the only time she's able to speak is if she is speaking on code. So Jessica X had to go. Next up, David Johnson tried to hit the link at the same time that Mr. Taz Exclusive, who added absolutely nothing to the conversation. All he did was come up there and deflect from the topic. When David Johnson hit the link, they said that they would allow the women to address the women and the men to address Rudimp. So David Johnson hit the link. And Bum Cherry knew from the stuff that he was typing down in the chat that he was not going to be on code. So what did she do? She said, oh, this is David. No, he got to go. She would not let him on the panel. She did eventually, but not just right then. Nope, David, you can't come. You're not on code. You got to go. So once again, nobody got to actually address Rude. So then here comes GMT, Grandmaster Troll. Well, they got a little bit more respect for Grandmaster Troll. He has a name, just like Taz has a name. I noticed that Bomb Cherry is a respecter of person, and she plays YouTube politics. So whereas David couldn't get on the panel, but Taz could, Grandmaster Troll could get on the panel because he has weight. He has clout. So she led him on. So Grandmaster Troll gets up there and immediately he starts going in. Soon as GMT starts going in on Rude, not one, not two, but three mammies came out of nowhere with their capes on, blocking him from talking to Rude. You cannot make this shit up. Grandmaster Troll had to fight through three mammies before he could eventually get to ask the man a question. And the questioning process went extremely and excruciatingly slow because with every question that he asked, a mammy kept stepping in to interject before Rude could talk. And Rude kept begging and asking them, hey, let me talk. Let me speak. You cannot make this shit up. And so I think Grandmaster Troll did manage to get 4 questions out. He did pretty good. He did better than anybody else. Taz wasn't even trying. Okay. He was up there to contribute to the cover up. So he was welcome on the panel. He was non-threatening and he was not going to mess up the program. So he was completely welcome on the panel. GMT asked the second question. And once again, before Rude could answer anything, not one, but 2 mammies jumped up the cape. And this time, Bomb Cherry did the right thing and told them to be quiet. Let Rude answer. I was actually shocked, but I was like, okay. And every time Rude went to answer, then Bum Cherry jumps in when she thinks Rude is saying too much. And I watched this semantics for about 2 hours. But I was very, very, very impressed with GMT. I was impressed. He at least got 4 questions in. And this is why the title of my stream is what it is. The mammies are the issue at this point. It's the mammies. Now they're up there reading information from stuff that they got online, and that's not a problem. But the problem is they're looking for information that will exonerate their friend. They're looking for information that will go along with the grooming process that they're doing to the people in their audience, because they got to keep the people in their audience ignorant, even if they have to lie. So they're reading stuff and trying to make it seem as if this is stuff that they're getting online that is in correlation with what they're talking about. And it's not. Now, my brother D. Darrell and I talk a lot. We text back and forth. I asked D. Darrell point blank. I said, D. Darrell, what would you call a child who abuses another child? Should he be called a pedophile, or should he be categorized as something else? And D. Darrell said, yes, he should be called a pedophile. Now, D. Darrell went up there and he said that he would not be able to categorize Rude as anything because he would need more information. And I respect that. D. Darrell is a licensed therapist, so he has to protect his brand. But the stuff that they were reading, there was one point where Jessica X was telling them that a child can be predatory. And Miss Olivia was trying to yell her down and bully her into changing her mindset. But Jessica X stood fast. And I was very impressed with Miss Jessica X as well. Because even though they were yelling at her and being verbally abusive, she stayed calm and she didn't let that deter her from her message. She said, yes, a child can be predatory. And so Bomb Cherry got the reading from a website and she said, no, 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 you're wrong, you're wrong. And she started reading. And as she was reading, she read something that said a predatory child. It had the words a predatory child in the sentence, and she had to stop. And she said, well, wait a minute. Am I reading this wrong? No, Bomb Cherry. Your dumb ass from the article that you pulled up is saying that a child can be predatory, and you just read it, and now you want to walk it back. So Jessica was right. But it's not even all of that. It's not even the fact that all of this came out about Rude Imp. It's how these women are reacting to Rude Imp's rap sheet that's more problematic for me. People have a right to know who they're dealing with. And I think that's what the real issue here is. But we just really don't know how to articulate what it is we're trying to get out of all of this. Basically, on YouTube, you can't put nobody in jail. We ain't got a heaven or hell to put nobody in, but we have the right to know who we are fucking with. The same way when you date somebody, you got a right to know who you're fucking with and bring it around your kids and bring it around your family. That's basically it in a nutshell. People want to know, should I be fucking with this dude or not? So I'm going to articulate it for everybody. This basically is what people are grappling with. This is what we're at odds with ourselves with. Do we still fuck with this nigga Rude after finding out all this here fucked up shit about him? Or, do we just chuck it all and just say, I'ma still rock with the dude? For some people have a standard that if you have any type of long criminal history, long rap sheet, anything major going on, I can't fuck with you. Some people are like, well, it was in the past. I'm just going to ignore all of the stuff that I see on this rap sheet and I'm going to fuck with you anyway. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. People are just trying to figure out whether they should fuck with Rude or not fuck with Rude. It's not about what they're trying to say. We're trying to demonize him and put him in hell, or we're trying to create a YouTube prison to put him in. That's not it at all. I'm telling you, that's what it is. People just want to know, do I rock with you or do I not rock with you? That's the only thing that you can do in this space and online, on YouTube or any social media platform. You have the right to know who you're fucking with. You have the right to make the decision whether or not you want to continue down the road with this individual. OD Shlomo says, would you rock with that person in real life? That's the answer right there. Exactly. For me, it's a no. My standards are a little bit higher than other people, though. Some people, their standards are a little bit more relaxed. And that's okay. Everybody is entitled to set their standards where they want to set their standards. So now the mammies were up there doing their little windmill thing. What's up, GMT? I don't know if you were here, but I was saying I was very, very proud of you and how you handled yourself on that panel. You actually had to fight through 3 mammies just to get out 4 questions. And I counted, you got at least 4 questions out. You did more than most people. Nobody else got as many questions out on Rude than you. Dude, you are the GOAT. Like I said, every step of the way, they fought him on every question that he asked. And Rude Demp had to fight just to speak for himself. This is the reason why I said the mammies are the issue. They're in the way. There's no way they should be intervening for a 30-something-year-old man that can now speak for himself. He's not 11 anymore, guys. He's not 11 anymore. Bum Cherry, he's not 11 anymore. Oracle, he's not 11 anymore. And all the rest of you mammies that was up there windmilling, he's not 11 anymore. Let the man speak for himself. But they want to fight people every step of the way because they're afraid that Rude Demp is going to make them look stupid. I just want to tell you what it really is in a nutshell. They were afraid that Rude Demp was going to say something that would make them look stupid for protecting him. So this is the reason why it was all the cape. all the cap. And they didn't realize that they were already making themselves look dumb as hell. They will forever be mammies in this space now because of this. GMT said he ran from me on the panel. Yeah, I saw as soon as you start asking him those heavy, hard-hitting questions, he got the fuck out of there. I think I even heard him say when GMT got to asking him a question about, the actual incident, he told Grandmaster Troll he didn't want to talk about it. But he said when he got up there that he wanted to be held accountable and that he would answer any questions anybody had. Anybody can ask him anything. But now all of a sudden, there's certain questions that he won't answer. He don't want to talk about the incident. Yeah, GMT, I saw that. And he said that when he got a chance to finally speak, and I think that he was coached to say that. At 30 some odd years old, this man is being coached. And I think he's been coached all his life. Now, Bomb Cherry was upset. And I had the audio of her being upset with Rude because he didn't open up to her on her panel. Bum Cherry wanted to know, how come you didn't come and talk to us about it? Why did you lie to us? Why didn't you tell us? Why did you go over to the enemy? I'm going to tell you why, Bum. Now, I don't know Rude. I don't know nothing about his upbringing, but I will bet you everything I own that the environment that Rude grew up in was very similar to the environment on your channel. Oh, Faith, what do you mean by that? How can a channel be similar to an environment that somebody grows up in? Well, I'll tell you. He probably grew up in an environment where people were constantly coaching him and telling him what to do. He was being peer pressured because he's around his so-called friends and he want to be cool. So he got to put on a facade. He can't be himself. So over on your channel, he's cool, he's rude, he's in character. But that ain't the real him. He's the person that you all want him to be, and he's on code. So that's why he didn't tell you. So now fast forward to when he came to my channel. My channel is quiet. The environment isn't noisy. I ain't got no crack needles hanging around my neighborhood. My neighborhood streets over here are clean and sanitized. We have law and order over here. There's no loud music in my neighborhood. People can actually think when they come over here. So when Rude came over here in an environment where he could actually talk without being interrupted, when he talked, he shared. And I did not have to coach anything out of him. If you go back and listen to my live stream, I was quiet when he was talking. And nobody on the panel interrupted him. As a matter of fact, it was actually offered that other people be put in the back or dropped off the panel so that he and I can have a one-on-one conversation. so that he can be comfortable, so that he can talk and speak his piece. And I think that's why he came over here. So, Boo Boo, baby bomb cherry, that's the reason he did not open up over there on your panel, because your environment is toxic and you facilitate it that way. You do not put a grown man or even a child in an environment where there's a lot of noise, a lot of chaos, and then you expect them to open up to you. Not if they're scared that there will be repercussions if they do. And nobody over here was mean to him. Nobody called him out his name. Nobody judged him. We were honest with him, though. D. Darrell was honest with him. CK was honest with him. And I was honest with him. And I even told him, I said, listen, we all said the same thing. Say less. We told him to say less. You need to clear your name, get yourself together, get some counseling, and then come back stronger. That was our advice. And that's all we can do is give him what our advice is. As a man, he can do whatever the hell he want to do. But the last thing I'm going to do over here on my channel is yell at somebody, bully them, overtalk them, throw the crack needle at them. I'm not doing that over here. We're not cooking any drugs in the kitchen over here. We're not having drunken dialogues over here and interjecting in the middle of people's conversations. So, that's the reason why you didn't get the exclusive. Your environment is too noisy. And that's another reason why I say it's a problem with the mammies of our communities. The mammies of our communities are the ones that foster toxic environments that our children grow up in. And they know the environment is toxic, so they try to always control what information gets out, because they don't want the next door neighbor down the street to know that they smoking smack in the bathroom while the kids trying to do their homework. And they don't want the neighbors down the street to know that sometimes they might bring a friend over while the kids are in the house, have sex with them for money so they can buy drugs. It's the mammies of the community that are controlling the narrative. Let me go ahead and acknowledge everybody that came in. I see a lot of you up in here, and I do appreciate you. I see Toenail in the house, Robert Washington, Sheila E., The Quiet Storm is in the house, D. Darrell Life Solutions is in the house, BMT, Business Minded Talk, check him out. Absolutely. And we have Cassandra Brown in the house, Robert Washington, Ultimate Gemini. She says, what would you say is the percentage of mammies in the community? I don't know. I know it's too many. It's enough where it is causing a grave impact on the community. It's enough where our boys are coddled to the point of them not even wanting to be men in the community because they're not allowed to speak for themselves and have their own voices. We talk about Ursula in The Little Mermaid taking Ariel's voice away from her. Shout out to Love Wisdom. But we don't talk about the Ursulas of the world, the mammies of the world that steal the voices of all the children, to the point that when they get to be older adults, especially the young men, because see, they can't control the girls for too long because the girls have that dominant gene and they teach the girls to be dominant. But they continue to control the boys into manhood. And this is a display of what that looks like. Kevin Kelly says, I was disappointed in Olivia. She always come off as if she is a stand-up person, but tonight she showed her true colors. Exactly. I've been peeped her. She's a mammy too. Make no mistake. Bro Speak says that's crazy considering how a lot of them talk about how the black manosphere are full of pedos, but here they are protecting a dude that raped a 6-year-old. Kevin Kelly says, I couldn't believe they looked up the word predator in order to justify what he did. Yeah. And children can be predators. Yes, they can. Let me see what else. I read that one already. David Johnson says, at the Faith Factor, China White's two-faced ass ran and told Bomb you was talking about her. Don't trust that whole China. Oh, no. I've been on that bitch's radar. I've been on that whole radar. I knew eventually she would turn on me. So it's no big surprise. See, a lot of you don't know, just because I don't say nothing, don't mean I'm not watching. Faith moves in silence. And that is a good thing. I don't know, BMT. BMT said that nigga desecrated that boy. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl. The story, see, for me, my problem is the story keeps changing. It keeps morphing. One minute, he didn't do it. The next minute, okay, the charges on my record are valid, but it wasn't me. Then it goes from, okay, it was a little girl, and now I'm hearing it's a little boy. I don't know what to believe. At this point, he's just lying. And like I said, the only way anybody should ever believe anything that's coming out of Pinocchio's mouth is for Pinocchio to produce solid proof and solid evidence. Other than that, only thing you can go off of is whether or not you trust this dude, whether or not you still want to rock with him or not. That's it in a nutshell. That's all we got, folks. BMT says, y'all niggas that like to be on the pedal force, I knew we were seeing a pattern around here. Yeah, we've been seeing this for a long time. We've been seeing this for a long time. Oh, Kevin Kelly sent me a Cash App. Thank you so much for the Cash App. I really appreciate it. And guys, please support the stream. I appreciate cash apps, super chats. It keeps me on top. Like the video, by the way, engagement also keeps me on top. Kent Hyde said, never liked the dude, so it's a no for me. And here's the thing. There's no perfect person under the sun. I got a rap sheet. And here's also another thing I want to talk about as far as my rap sheet, because people are going around saying I'm a criminal and I'm a criminal judging another criminal. This is why I say it's important for people to make distinguishments and separate themselves. Yes, I caught a charge 2 years ago when my daughter moved in with me during COVID. She and I got to fighting. She was 23 at the time. I did not lose the fight. I went to jail. And I had it been the other way around, she would have went to jail. What's really, really funny to me is that people are berating me like I beat up a little kid. But y'all not understanding that this is a grown ass woman coming at me. So I'm not gonna let my ass get kicked. And nobody is saying, wow, why would how can your daughter go against her mother? Nobody's having any type of sympathy for me as a mother whose child jumped on me. Very interesting how people think when they don't like you. But I digress. Let me get back to the topic at hand. And guys, I'm not going to be up here that long. There are just some things I had to get off my chest. So Koja's up there giving another anecdotal story about her son. Now, in the previous video that CK and I showed on Woman Sphere's channel, she gave an example of her son being in trouble with the law because of some graphic pictures of, I guess, his little sister that was found on his little sister's tablet. And Koja stepped in, saved the day, and stopped the boy from going to jail, because they was getting ready to throw him in jail. So now Koja talks about how the same son was caught stealing something out the store. Koja, your son sound like he's pretty bad. I would stop using my son in examples of when there's a lot of wrongdoing, because it looks like whatever you doing as far as raising your children, it ain't working. And you low-key snitching on yourself. You got a lot of terrible examples of things that your son is doing or was doing. I don't know if he's a man now or not. Don't sound good, Koja. Don't sound good. And you a messy little bitch and two-faced. That's why a lot of people don't really fuck with you like that. I'm just going to throw that out there. Shlomo says, looks like the manosphere is full of dudes who can't work regular jobs because their paperwork is too dirty. Yep, correctamundo. Ken High says, people are so fickle and turncoats. Can't trust anyone on here. No. If you share a story with people, they'll go and they'll twist it and turn it into something that is not. Because according to them heifers, when they was first telling the story, they tried to make it seem as if my daughter was a underage child and I just beat my kid up. But this is a grown-ass woman who also has just as much physical ability to beat my ass. So I'm pretty much fighting for my life. and won. But I paid the price for it and went to DV and anger management. And it's not anything that I'm proud of. And who wants to, it's not nothing to, sit up here and be like, stomp the chest, I'm victorious. No. I had to go to anger management DV, and I had to learn how to de-escalate problems better. And it actually worked out good for us because we also did the family counseling. So something good came out of a bad situation, but could have been handled better. I admit that. So I hold that L. Sub Chef Disaster, Marvell 318. Look, I just want to talk to the men real quick because to me, the people that are most affected by the mammies and the most stifled in life by the mammies. And if you were raised by a mammy, not a single mother, but a mammy, because not all single mothers are mammies. But if your mother was a mammy, and I'm going to describe them, they act just like Bum, Cherry, Oracle, and the women over there. They're drunk, belligerent, they cuss in front of the children. They do things like go on Instagram live in front of you and pull their pants down so that they can, be great for the gram. They smoke, do drugs in front of you, and they tell you to do as they say, not as they do. They're loud, they overtalk you, they don't allow you to get a point out. You can't get a thought out around them. You don't feel as if you can talk to them, because if you do, they're going to yell at you. If you've been raised by a mammy and you're a young man, that mammy probably stifled you a lot in life. They didn't encourage you to move out and be your own man. That's the reason why Bum Cherry's sons are still living in her house, because she's a mammy. As a matter of fact, they don't encourage you to do much on your own. They're still cooking for you. They're still doing your laundry. They're in your relationship business. They got their finger in their whole hand in every aspect of your life, and they're extremely controlling. Shout out to Architect for the $3 super sticker. I appreciate it. You're going to have to break away from your mammies, fellas. And see, that's kind of hard because the mammy comes off as being so maternal. She comes off as really caring about you. So it's comfortable. She makes it so comfortable to stay living in her house until you're 30 years old, because she's still cooking for you. She's still cleaning your room and washing your clothes. She still fills out all your paperwork for different things. She may even drive you here and there like you're still a kid. So it's comfortable. And you may not want to leave that comfort. But in another way, it's uncomfortable, because when you want to get ready to bring a girl over, she in your business. She trying to tell you what type of girl to have, and there's certain girls she don't like, and she'll run certain girls away. So it's comfortable and it's uncomfortable because you're a grown ass man. You want to be able to make your own decisions about women. You want to bring whoever you want into your own, well, it's not your place, you in her place, right? You want to be able to make a decision about whether or not you want to go to community college or hit the military or not go to the military and open a business. You want to be able to make that decision, but your mammy is telling you everything to do in life. And sometimes she stifles you because she's afraid that you, if you do get to a certain level in life, you're going to leave her because now you're her house husband. You're her son husband. And mammies will do that. Mammies are the number one people that have son husbands. What's that dude on that show? Um, I think that his girlfriend's name was Chrissy. God doggone it, that man's name escapes me, but his mother was a mammy. I think he was supposed to be some kind of rapper or something. I had never heard of him before, but it's old back in the day. His mother was a mammy. And I really believe that she was the one that single-handedly got in the way between him and that chick Chrissy getting married. Yeah, they had a show a while back. I forget the name of it. But y'all understand what I'm saying. You got to get out from under that mammy. Because, see, what's going to end up happening is she's going to keep her claws and her clutches in you so thick and so far that you're never, ever going to be self-actualized to be a man that can be a leader. And so this is the reason why half of you don't get the submissive woman that you want. Because women see weakness and we don't respect it. We know mama boys. Mammies also produce mama boys. That's the next thing I want to get to. I bet you both of Bomb Cherry sons are mama boys. Mama boys worship their mamas. They look to her instead of themselves whenever they need to make a decision about anything. And if you are a man trying to have a relationship with a woman talking about you want some submission and you a mama boy, you're going to be an incel with no submission for the rest of your life. As a matter of fact, your mama is only going to approve another mammy to be your wife. And she's going to make sure that that woman has full control over you and she has full control over her. There's a mammy hierarchy. So everything that you saw with this whole Rudimp thing, you're seeing the mammies come out of the woodworks and you see it playing out for you in real time. It's very, very rare that you get to see it in real time. So a lot of times we see it and we don't know what it is. So that's the reason why it's my responsibility as a content creator and influencer to point these things out to you. But no, we don't like mama boys. Mama boys are weak. We like men that can take charge, take control. We like men that are self-made. They're decisive. They make their own decisions. They're not followers. They know how to lead. And they don't ask for submission because you just automatically want to give it to him. You want to follow him. You want to get on his program. Ooh, I just lost a lot of people when I got to explaining what the mammy is. A lot of folks dropped off. A lot of folks didn't like that. But I've been up here for an hour going on my little rant. I got to get to bed, y'all. I would hang out with y'all all night if I could. Shout out to all my channel members, the architect. Thank you so much for being a channel member. And Bro Speaks podcast. Thank you. Also, where's my girl at? I saw her earlier up in here. But I want to thank all my channel members, Diamonds and Pearls, Nisha by Nature. I got a lot of channel members up. Thank you so much. I appreciate every last one of you. And I do believe that the first person to hit the link, let me see who it is. It was Toenail. Uh-oh, you know what it is. Shout out to Toenail. All right, guys. Well, it's been an hour. I hope that you got a lot out of this. If you didn't catch the beginning, please catch the replay, like the video, share the video to keep me on top. And I just wanted to say, smooches. I'm out. Peace.